So who is Jesus Christ? This Jesus, who is the theme of Scripture, were the ancient Ebionites correct? Was he a human prophet? Were the Docetists correct? Was he divine, but his humanity only an illusion, an apparition? Were the Valentinists correct? Was the Gnostic Jesus, the mystical Jesus, the demiurge, the created Jesus, the real Jesus? Were the Arians right? Was he just a man and not God? We need to get this right. The best place to get it right is to hear it from his own lips. So open your Bible to John 8. John 8. This is a challenge for me to decide what to preach about because I have about 3,000 sermons on the person of Christ. It's a bit challenging to pick one. Maybe this is the one that the Lord would have us consider. It's really a study more than a sermon. Of course, the Jews celebrated their identification with Abraham. They loved to say we're Abraham's children. That was their mantra. When they said we are Abraham's children, they meant by that to affirm the fact that they were the chosen people, they were the covenant people, they were the ones who were promised the great Abrahamic blessing which encompassed the land and prosperity as well as salvation. They loved to celebrate their identity as the children of Abraham. In a conversation on that theme, we come down to chapter 8 of John's Gospel and verse 56. And Jesus is going to show that he's more important than Abraham, which is not an acceptable thing to say to these Jews. He says in verse 56, "Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad." So the Jews said to him, "You're not yet 50 years old, and have you seen Abraham?" Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham came into existence, I am." Which left them no possible response except what is described in verse 59. Therefore they picked up stones to throw at him, but Jesus hid himself and went out of the temple. When in verse 56, Jesus made the statement that Abraham rejoiced to see my day and saw it and was glad, he was essentially saying in the hearing of these Jews that he and Abraham knew each other. He and Abraham had a relationship. They had experienced each other. That was more than they could handle. Absolutely absurd, absolutely bizarre, absolutely ridiculous. Because they said in verse 57, "You're not even 50 years old." You're not even 50 years old. Which is the sort of marker of being aged. I don't know what that does to me, but you're not even an old man. What are you talking about? You and Abraham knew each other. Not only do I have a relationship with Abraham, not only do I know Abraham and Abraham knows me, verse 58, but I'm telling you, before Abraham came into existence, I am. This is a powerful statement. It needs to be carefully examined. Before Abraham was born, or before Abraham was, or before Abraham came into being, that is a definite period of time, a definite point in time when Abraham, who had not exist, began to exist, a point in past history when Abraham became Abraham. Jesus says, before that historical event, I am. And I guess what we could call this in language is the eternal present. No beginning. He doesn't say, I was, I came to be, I came into existence. He says, I am. Now, Abraham came into existence. To come into existence is to pass from not existing into existing, from nothingness into reality, from non-existence to existence. But on the other hand, to say I am designates a mode of being which is not based upon any transition. It is not based upon any historical event. He doesn't say I was, he says I am, and thus attributes to himself eternal existence in the absolute sense. The absolute sense. Abraham is a historic figure. There was a time when he didn't exist. There was a time when he came into existence. Unlike that, I am. There was never a time I did not exist. Psalm 90 and verse 2 speaks the same kind of language. It says this, before the mountains were formed, or thou didst give birth to the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. Based on the laws of grace,